Hey guys, what's up? Hope everything is good and welcome back to learning Valorant as a CS veteran. I still need to get used to saying that, but here on episode 3 I'm going to focus on a single match I played as Omen and also speak about my thoughts on the game after 1 week of the release.
Do you want to come here and I'll smoke the ramp going up to upper here and we'll just all run through it. I'll smoke right, like towards site and the ramp and we'll just go up the ramp. Just try and... You know what I mean? Oh shit. But I've still got 2 more.
So as you might have gathered from the voice comms, I am playing with 5 people, 5 friends, which is a good position to be in. We all had beta keys and it's much better playing this game as a 5 stack, as with any game it's better to play if you're organised and you're all friends. This is the second round, we lost the pistol round, so as you could hear my friend Rich at the start just say we're going to work the A bomb site here. So we are actually on an eco here. You may notice I had a shotgun or have a shotgun. That is the shorty. It's actually a sidearm. It's very, very cheap. It only costs 200 credits and it actually does a lot of damage close range. You might have noticed that guy who pushed through the smoke got absolutely decimated by it. But it's a very, very cheap gun. It's also terrible at any range other than point blank. So we're now in a 2 versus 2 situation. You might notice that I planted the bomb at the back of the site. That's because we are, again, obviously on eco, and you get money for getting the spike down. So the most important thing here is getting the spike down. Obviously, we want to win the round still, but because my friend was playing quite defensive in heaven, I wanted to make sure I wasn't killed planting the spike by someone flanking, so just went for the safe plant. Now, Rich has been taken out by someone who was pushed into the bomb site. He doesn't expect me here because I've started flanking as soon as he got that kill and rushed to the site. So I get as close as possible and then rush around the corner. That kind of situation is very, very similar to CSGO. In fact, there's barely any difference. There's no abilities really coming into play at the end of the round. And yeah, if you understand CSGO, you understand that situation. So this is the very next round. You can see the score is 1-1. Now what I want to do here is, I only have a Spectre, so I want to kind of get some map control for the team. So I'm going to take B solo using Omen's abilities. So I'm smoking the back of the site and also the front kind of choke point here. And then just walking close, checking no one's pushed, and then teleporting from one smoke to the other to get a bit of a flank on B.
Go B, yeah, I'll hold it.
Annihilated.
Nice, G.
Planted.
They can't get to B heaven from supply mid, if that makes sense. They can from B.
Fool.
I'm gonna get under window.
Could be T spawn, boys.
No charges.
Yeah,
Yeah, higher.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Tagged and tagged.
Beautiful.
So while this round plays out, I just want to give my overall opinion after 1 week of beta access of Valorant as a mainly CS player, and that is that Valorant is really, really good. It's very impressive. If I had to pick one thing that has impressed me, it's definitely the netcode. So I think that 1.6 had one of the best netcodes ever, as long as you were playing on a ping below around 40. Other games like CSGO had pretty poor netcode in my opinion, with peakers advantage and lots of other strange things occurring. And also if you had 100 ping on CSGO, it actually benefited you and was a disadvantage to someone else playing on 20 ping, which is a bit strange. And the netcode so far in here I think is really impressive. The registration is great, the way the game feels is very smooth. That's because of the 128 tick servers, which is a godsend as someone coming from CSGO, where the matchmaking servers are 64 tick, so you're pretty much forced to play ESEA or Face It if you want a good experience. So that is really, really impressive in Valorant. Now, thoughts on the abilities and the general gameplay. So the first few days, the abilities will be the thing that's right in your face, and that is the biggest thing you have to concern yourself with, because obviously you won't have played anything quite like this. I know Overwatch has kind of similar kind of abilities and things, but this I feel like everything's kind of in your face for the first few days, and some abilities feel unfair. Now, it is a beta, so some abilities probably are unfair. However, after playing for a few days, you realise actually everything can be counted, and you can actually always avoid abilities. So something like even Razor's ultimate, which is imbalanced, there's no real debate about that. You at least get a call out when it's coming, and you know you have to run away and avoid it.
Let's trade now.
Three killed.
Beautiful.
The next thing I want to cover is my use of Omen. So in my last video I briefly mentioned that the first few days playing Omen I had a huge amount of success with this ultimate, just getting behind them and it would just teleport, but as time went on people get more aware of it, and nowadays as soon as you use this ability everyone just starts looking behind them and people go as far as to run back to their spawn to kill you. So really I've been using it a lot more tactically. So as attackers I might use it if I'm in a 2v2 and they see me towards B with the bomb, I might then quickly rotate to A using my ultimate and get the bomb down and try and clutch that way. Or as defenders, if I'm A and they're rushing B, I'll go and back up my team using the ultimate. But using it aggressively is quite difficult because everyone's so aware of it. This round on the screen is slightly contrary to that. We were doing a B execute, however they walled off and slowed us down, so we decided to try and do a bit of a B split. So I've timed it with my teammates to go behind them and get the kills onto B as they're going through the front of the bomb site when the wall's down, and I do manage to actually catch a few people off guard, but this is quite a rare case. Usually people will be watching behind them.
Blinding.
One enemy remaining.
I've got CT lower.
Go. 3 killed.
So the next thing I'm going to cover that's really changed from day one of playing this game is just the movement around the map. So very quickly it became obvious that footsteps are extremely loud on this game and a huge piece of information, and because of that you have to pretty much walk everywhere, otherwise people will just be expecting you and waiting for you, which is fine. No problem with that working the way it does. Also you have to really take advantage of being able to flank. So if you have an opening on the map, it's always worth walking past and trying to get into a better position, because there's so many abilities. If they know where you are, they're going to use their abilities on you and you're going to have a harder time. But if you can actually flank somewhere and get to the back of them, so for example in this round I got a couple of kills, I then teleported into the bomb site. Rich was going towards the A bomb site. It was a 4 versus 2 situation, and basically I was pushing my position rather than just running back and going with him. I'm flanking across the map because he had A cleared, so I knew he'd be able to get into A and kind of get the bomb down, and if I went through B hopefully they would not expect it, so I can get behind them and get a couple of kills without them expecting me there and using all their abilities on me. I can basically take advantage of my positioning and get a couple of picks before they actually execute into the bomb site. So a quick note about pistol rounds. So I'm not very good at pistol rounds, and in fact I've not seen anyone yet from watching streams who is consistently good at pistol rounds. Using the pistols properly is standing still and tapping, but then if they have armor it takes more than one headshot to kill people, and what people have mainly been doing is just spamming them quite fast in people's general direction. The recoil is a bit haywire, but that seems to be what everyone's doing at the moment. But it would be great to see when you get a really good pistol round player just exactly what they do. The next thing I've changed quite a lot over the week is how I play the defender side. So originally I was playing very aggressive, getting behind people and basically, like I mentioned before, flanking them and shooting in the back. That doesn't work very consistently these days because people play very defensive. They don't just rush choke points, they sit back and wait. So what I do now is actually play very defensive, and then ever so often I will then push that bomb site. So this round I've been playing defensive for a few rounds before this one, and then pushed hoping they wouldn't expect it, and indeed they didn't, and I got 3 people in the back. So that's the end of the highlights from that particular game. So I ended on 31 kills and 9 deaths, and by the way I love the scoreboard for this game. The way you get credit for first bloods and things like that is absolutely fantastic, and something that shines through from the ex-CS professionals being developers, I think, there. So the final thing I want to quickly talk about before I end this video is the anti-cheat issue. So some people are unhappy that the anti-cheat is essentially always running in the background and it's quite intrusive. Now personally, I do not mind an intrusive anti-cheat one little bit. It's something I've been crying out for CSGO and other games. I think having an intrusive anti-cheat is the way forward, and I have no issues whatsoever. However, I think a good way of doing this would be to have a premium queue. So if you want to be part of that premium queue, you have to opt in to having this anti-cheat running all the time, and then you can queue up against other players using the premium queue only, and then you can have a standard queue for people who don't want the anti-cheat system always running, and they can play against other people who are in the standard queue, and they can then essentially put up with the fact that they'll encounter more cheaters. That's the way I'd go about it personally, as a bit of a middle ground. But you know, myself, I have no issues with an anti-cheat being intrusive. I think it's something that if you play CSGO for any length of time, you should be welcoming. Cheaters ruin games. So I'm going to leave the video here. My next video will be another full Omen gameplay where I go through each round, round by round, and talk about my thought process and why I'm doing what I'm doing. I already have one of those, which is on the screen in just a second if you want to view that video. However, that was made after just a couple of days of beta, so my gameplay's gotten better and my knowledge has gotten better, as has everyone else's. So it'll be interesting to compare how I play Omen now to how I played Omen back then. So with that said, if you have enjoyed this, please do subscribe. I've got tons more Valorant content coming up, and I'll see you in the next one.